with our show, which is about avoiding bad choices. And not just doing that, but making genuinely good ones, because they are two very different things. And we don't tend to talk about that. So this show is about closing that gap. So 30 minutes, and I have to go straight to the airport from here to get to Nashville. So we are going to get right on it. So Kelly and I were supposed to be together this morning. I was supposed to be up in Syracuse for a college tour for my son. And now Kelly has just informed me that it was the best 2 days that Syracuse has ever seen weather-wise. But we unfortunately have some family stuff, death in the family coming and blah, 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 expected. So I don't want to seem like I'm not emotional, but we knew it was coming. Anyways, we could not go. And so, but Bob Jones of Chef's Garden, this amazing place that everybody should get produce from, he sent a box to Kelly's house thinking that the two of us were going to be together. So, real vegetables, regeneratively grown, fresh picked. Let's go, Kelly. What do you have? Let's show everybody.
All right. So first of all, this box showed up and I was like, it was like a surprise because you told me it was coming, but I was like, oh, what is this? So it was so much fun to open it up. So first of all, the first thing I saw was this incredible package. Look at the colors in this, the flowers, the greens, the reds, the purples, the yellows. And I still haven't popped this baby open because it is going to explode with color and flavor right here.
So everybody should know that Bob has a culinary institute on site for chefs to come and learn how to use regeneratively grown fresh veg, really protect their nutrient density, do amazing things with them. And so his chef from his culinary institute prepared that kit for you.
And so they then sent individually wrapped. So this was a lot of the things that are in there that you'll see I put on our Mackenzie Child's plate because I live in Central New York. And so we have the radishes and we have ginger and cucumbers and the sugar snap peas.
Celery root. Because I get those boxes, I have been learning how to cook with celery root. Celeriac is how it's called.
And then these were all the baby flowers and everything that were in the little individual packs too. And I just was at a wedding shower on Saturday. Like things like this too, for adding gorgeousness to the dishes, like this is beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's all edible and it's way more nutrient dense than the like veggie platter that you get pre-done at the Publix or the Kroger or whatever store you have in your local area, or you spend $1,000 million from the Whole Foods and it's still carrots and celery.
Yeah, I mean, this is an art piece.
So do you want to go ahead and pop open that box and let's start talking about what's in there?
Yeah,
so I'll give some facts about why it matters. There's some differences here about why we wanted to do this. Let's look at it, and then let's actually talk about the nutrient density of some of the vegetables that are in there. Because a lot of times, so there's a purple carrot.
Yeah, so let's start with this. Then we have our beets. Like, let's think about these.
Well, so let's talk about, we did a little bit of research because I know a lot of what Bob has. So let's talk a little bit about purple carrots versus a regular carrot. Shall we?
Yeah, I think so. Dive right in there. I think
so. The point of the purple carrot is layered phytochemistry. So it's the same baseline vitamin and mineral profile as an orange carrot, which is vitamin K, potassium, manganese, fiber, and some vitamin C, but stacked with anthocyanins that the orange doesn't have. Purple carrots are also twice as rich in alpha and beta carotene as orange carrots. And they possess a sweet flavor with total sugar, with actually a low total sugar content. And they contain higher amounts of phenolics, which I just talked about. And they show higher antioxidant capacity than orange and yellow counterparts. In laboratory studies, these pigments exert antioxidant effects stronger than vitamin E analogs. That's the purple carrot.
The purple carrot. And so it's really interesting. But what I want to say too, on that note, is getting in the variety of the different colors is going to give you a variety of different nutrients and vitamins. So that's where when you look at this plate here and you look at the vegetables that are in front of us, part of the research has shown that the variety also is adding to our microgut biome and is truly helping to get the diversity of the gut bacteria. So yes, purple carrots being like, woo, like they are top of the, food chain right now, but really truly the variety is something that has been newly researched, which is pretty cool.
Which, speaking of gut, this is kombucha. I'm trying to get as much good stuff into my gut before I start traveling later today for the gauntlet that I have coming up.
I love it. I love it. So speaking on that, to go into that for like 2 seconds. So people may not understand that 70% of your immune system is actually in your gut. And so by having the kombucha, that's the probiotics, and then having these incredible vegetables that have fiber and nutrients and vitamins help build up that immune system to keep you healthy at this conference.
All right. So what next? What vegetable are you going to pick next?
Okay. So let's go into, I love beets. Okay. They're like one of my favorites.
Why?
Because they are so nutrient dense, and you can use both the beet itself and beet greens. So I think that they're two completely different profiles and tastes, but I love the beets for those antioxidants, for fiber source, and I think they add such a beautiful color. And there's different colors of beets as well. So
did Bob, because Bob usually includes multiple colors of beets.
Oh yeah. We've got a whole bunch here. We've got a whole bunch of.
He usually has like yellow and orange and red. Yep.
Yeah. So
when you open up that tray, he usually slices the beets.
Well, if I pop this open, we're gonna have an explosion of fun. Let me just.
I think you should do it, because I think you
really?
should then,
okay.
like, as we talk about the vegetables, I think you should like taste it, because it's all sliced up and ready.
Okay. Here we go. Audience, are you ready?
Vegetables.
Are we gonna have a drum roll?
I feel like I can't see it though.
Oh,
it's like below it. There we go.
Oh,
okay, here we go.
Let me screen down. Here we go. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready. I'm so jealous I'm not there.
Oh, didn't pop as much as I thought it was gonna go all over.
See, look at that. Look at those carrots sliced and the sugar snap peas. He has purple. Like, I am so jealous right now. So you see the radish. So yeah, I can see the radish really close to me.
Right here.
What I loved was apparently, like, so I only knew that, right, he has different radish in there, but like, if Bob's on, he'll tell me. He'll be like, Ellen, that's a something radish. But try that, Kelly.
Yeah, so this was we went to dinner last night at a place called Mirbeau, and this was truly my salad, which is really funny. I was laughing this morning because it had the sugar snap peas, it had the radishes, and they added the burrata to it, and then some pesto.
Talk about what burrata is, because I don't know if everybody knows what burrata is.
It's a cheese, and it's super soft, and it's absolutely delicious in salads because it just flows perfectly with all of these flavors. Plus, it also has a fat source, and that's something to talk about with this. So as we talk about these nutrients and vitamins, so to absorb a lot of these nutrients and vitamins, you do need the combination of fat. So that's where, like with salads, you'll have like some type of olive oil dressing, or again, the cheese. So having that fat source helps us absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K. So that is really interesting of like why things were done the way they were done. Like, why do we add salad dressing? It's because we can absorb those nutrients and vitamins. Okay. So really interesting of how that kind of comes together. This is really good, by the way.
Okay. So let's actually talk about radish and nutrition for a second while you're eating that. So what does it taste like?
So this has a spicy flavor to it. It has a perfect chewing texture. So it's not like, it has like that really good, but the spice in it is so absolutely perfect. It's not like too spicy.
I know his radish, I think, they're amazing. And he has, I think the one you have is called like the lime radish or something. You see how the outside is actually green?
Yeah.
And the inside is purple. Yeah. Versus like the pink ones on the outside are white on the inside, which I'm sure he has some of those. But those things I think they're called like highball radish or something. I don't know. They're called
like, they have so much flavor. Oh, here's some purples.
That's a beet. That's a beet.
This one is?
Yeah, that's a beet. He slices the beets. Yeah. So let's talk about the radish. Well, let's talk about the beet since you're eating the beet. So you were talking about what great vegetables they are. So they're the best source of betalains. Sorry. 245.7 micrograms per cup serving. They contain 326.4 milligrams of polyphenols per cup. They qualify as a best source, which is over 50% of the daily value of betalains. They are an excellent source of 20 to 50% of the daily value of polyphenols and folate. We talked a little bit about folate. It's not fake folate, that's real folate. And they're a good source, 10 to 20% of the daily value for copper, fiber, and manganese. They also contain vitamin C, A, E, K, and B complex, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, and B9, plus minerals. They have also magnesium, potassium, sodium, phosphorus, iron, zinc, copper, boron, silica, and selenium.
So you saying that, and I hope the audience understands, when we talk about food is health and food is medicine and also food quality and density, what you just mentioned was all things that go into our body, help us make our red blood cells, help us make all of our, to neutralize those free radicals. These are foods that help the body. These are foods that help the body. Right now in America, only 1 in 10 Americans gets the amount of fruits and vegetables they need per day.
And it's not just right. And I think this is why this show is so important to me, and I know it is to you too, is all you hear is, are you taking a multivitamin? Are you taking supplements, right? Are you taking selenium? Are you taking vitamin C? Are you taking zinc? And it's not that you shouldn't be doing that. What we hear, the information that we tend to get about food focuses on macros, right? How much protein, how much carbohydrate, how much fat, how much fiber if you're lucky, right? That's what everybody is fixated on these days. And the reality is we've lost track of all of the minerals and vitamins and micronutrients that are really, to me, far more important than the macros, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I'm keto and I'm not anti-keto. I'm not pro-keto. Everybody has to find what works for them. But what frustrates me whenever we get into these really, really strict sort of elimination diets for long-term, like there's a short-term and a long-term, but like long-term is that you lose sight of what the foods that you cut out to do this give you. And I think that's the part that I would just want people to be aware of, is just how you get nutrient dense vegetables. And after we finish going through this for another couple of minutes, I do want to walk through the difference between conventional, regenerative, and then also local versus, not local, and what that does to the very nutrient density and the nutritional value that we're talking about here.
So I want to go back to your little keto thing for 2 seconds. That what you just explained in just what the nutrients were in one beet is what you're not getting with a ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet was designed for people with epilepsy. It is a medical nutrition therapy for epilepsy. It was never supposed to be used for the general public because of its lack of nutrients. So just to put that out there, as a registered dietitian, I want to throw concern out to anyone that is not eating fruits and vegetables to get what you just said. The body does need these vitamins and minerals, and it does need these all of these antioxidants to help heal itself. So without that, it will decrease your immune system. It will actually, in the long run, cause harm. So I just want to throw that out there, because when we talk about it like kind of lightly, it's not a light conversation. It actually is really concerning if you're not getting in foods like this.
Right. It's the nutritional value that these vegetables bring that you just have. Again, people will make their choices. But
you can't get that. You can't.
I know. Well, people will argue again. People will argue that you could take supplements, and my personal belief is that bioavailability of natural foods is that's where I focus. But again, now let's go to radish.
Okay.
Make the radish. Is there another radish?
There's all here's another one.
Look how beautiful those are. Like Bob showed up to our unconference with trays of those.
Well.
And I was just like, oh my gosh.
I want to talk because I just took a bite of the
So that's a beet. So what you have there is the golden beet.
But this sugar snap pea, these are so good. Like,
and then the purple, there's a purple pea.
Right here.
The purple pea. Mm-hmm. Look at that. I'll have to bring up a picture while we're on. So I think I told, maybe did I tell you this? I don't think we've done this here. Is I went to a black tie for HIMSS, a most interesting person party. Kat McDavitt throws these amazing parties, and she had one out in Vegas around HIMSS, which is the big healthcare tech conference, and she required masks. And so I made a mask with Bob's veggies. So I had this like insane mask, all those veggies. I brought them out. I sliced them up in my hotel room. I brought a glue gun. Like I did this whole thing. What I will tell anybody who decides to make a veggie mask is that veggies have moisture, and the moisture fights with the glue in the glue gun.
So yeah, I was like, I don't know how that was going to stay on.
Oh, I had to create like there was a whole thing. Like I did a whole thing there. But anyway, so okay, let's talk about the radish for a second. And then I want to go into, you just enjoy the veggies and make me super jealous, and I'll just drink my kombucha. I'm so sad.
My husband's pulling in from the gym right now. He's gonna he doesn't even know this is here yet. He's gonna be like,
this is the best thing ever.
Yes.
So radish. Okay. So 100 grams of raw root. We should have a scale. We need to do that. We need to get one of our little food scales and show people what different portion sizes look like on that. Okay. So it's low calorie and high in water radish. So I'm a big fan of radish now. In fact, you just reminded me I need to bring my radish with me to Nashville because they're so good. But the headline isn't, this is the thing I love, is it's not what's not in the macros, right? They are the best source, over 50%, over 50% of the daily value of glucosinolates, and a good source also of polyphenols, vitamin B7, which is biotin, and vitamin C. Red radish provides 95.4 micrograms of vitamin B9, which is folate, per 100 grams, about 47% of the daily value, and 12.2 milligrams of vitamin C, which is about 15%. So you can get almost 12% of your daily vitamin C, 15%, by eating 100 grams of radish.
Okay, so vitamin C, really interesting. So there was a Grey's Anatomy. What's the new show that just came out? And I saw a girl, she did a post on this. And because of all of these TikTok trends where people are not eating these types of foods, the gentleman that came into the show, he actually had scurvy. He had a lack of vitamin C causing scurvy in 2026. 2026, we're still seeing this. And having a low vitamin C can truly cause damage because these are powerful antioxidants. And so, like you said, just in this one radish, we can get that vitamin C source.
Yep. Okay.
But I thought that was really interesting that they were talking about it. Yeah.
So there's some important statistics here. And so unfortunately, we industrialized our food supply after World War II. And when we did that, we really depleted the nutritional value because we focused of our food supply. We really decimated specialty crop production, which is the very vegetables that you have. We're trying to build that back. And it's a very costly infrastructure to build back. And so we really went to yield optimization. We were trying to solve for famine. So monoculture, soil depletion. And so the food kind of looks the same, but most of the time it's not the same. And so this is an interesting thing. So eat local. Vegetables can lose 15 to 55% of vitamin C within a week. And spinach can lose 90% within the first 48 hours after harvest. So isn't that crazy? Most conventional vegetables spend 5 days in transit and 3 days at a distribution center.
So it's interesting. And I was looking this up because I was blown away by that statistic myself. So what I really found out is it goes into also storage. So I know a lot about storage because I'm the New York State Apple spokesperson for the last 4 years. And so the technology that has come out about the zero oxygen actually protects the vitamin C in that item. And then also making sure that there's no light is a big piece. So when we're storing, like when we're harvesting and storing, so for instance, we just did 2 conferences over the past week, and we are bringing apples, and people are like, how are these so fresh? And I'm like, because they were stored in a zero oxygen chamber, which actually preserves
Interesting.
that,
So it's
right?
also, yeah, very, very, very good point. So that's one. It's not that you shouldn't eat your vegetables. You should just know that the nutritional, it's why eating local is better, and eating local when you know it's fresh. So, going to the, here's the thing, if you go to the local farmer's market, ask where the produce came from, because there are a lot of produce resellers that go to farmers markets and they act as though they are the people, but all they're doing is buying. A lot of times they're actually buying the leftovers from the distribution centers that the grocery store is not taking, and then they're selling it at the farmers market. So definitely ask that question, then ask how it's grown, ask if they're a regenerative farm, ask if they're using any kind of organic practices. Most of the time they're not going to be certified organic because it's a really expensive process to go through, but at least talk to them about how, that's a thing to do, right? So then what about regenerative? So I need to, because we only have 7 minutes, I won't go into the whole thing about regenerative. Maybe we can do that next week, because I'll actually be at Sovereignty Ranch this weekend. It's a big regenerative agriculture conference. And Carter and I are going to go there. Kelly Ryerson, who a lot of people saw, she and a couple of Maha moms. I don't want to get political here. This isn't about Baja in terms of the political party. I'm bipartisan on this. It's about cleaning up our food supply. And so she coordinated a big rally in DC yesterday, pushing back on the EPA for pesticides and glyphosate in our food supply. And she's going to be there. And Ryland Englehart, which a lot of people know, he is Kiss the Ground. It's his ranch. We know him well. So I'm like super pumped for that. So maybe next week you can remind me, and we can kind of dig on a little bit more on regenerative ag and why that matters, and why looking for that is something people should kind of do. But so there were 8 pairs of regenerative and conventional farms across North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Iowa, Tennessee, Kansas, North Dakota, and Montana. Each regenerative farm was paired with a proximal, so close, conventional farm of the same soil type planting and the same crop variety. So it was almost like a randomized control trial with food, right? We'll just call it that. And that regenerative farms had been on conservation agriculture, no-till, plus cover crops, plus diverse rotations for 5 to 10 years. So that's kind of a quick and dirty of regenerative. Basically, you're turning dirt back into soil again, and you have actually nutrient density in the soil that then creates nutrient dense plants. And again, Bob at Chef's Garden is a regenerative farm. He does a lot of it indoors, but not in a hydroponic manner, like it's truly grown with soil. The average result across all crop pairings, regenerative crops had 34% more vitamin K, ranged from 10 to 57% more, 15% more vitamin E, 14% more vitamin B, 17% more vitamin B2, 11% more calcium, 12% more phosphorus, and 27% more copper, more magnesium, calcium, potassium, and zinc, more vitamins, B1, 12, C, E, and K, and more phytochemicals. Spinach from both the Connecticut and California regenerative farms had about 4 times the total phenolics, which we just talked about. And carrots from these farms had 60 to 70% more phenolics than reported values from New York supermarkets. And then another stat here is local organic tilled cabbage of the same variety, 41% more vitamin K, 70% more vitamin E, 31% more vitamin B1, 60% more vitamin B3, 23% more vitamin B5, 41% more calcium, less sodium, a third less sodium, and then twice the phenolics and phytosterols, and 48% more carotenoids.
Well, and it goes back to, again, a lot of this where I learned from, I talked about it in the episode before, from the Omnivore's Dilemma. He really gets into the why and what happens with the soil and how to get it back and how long it can take to get that soil up to standards, because it has been stripped of the nutrients and vitamins. And so it's really interesting when you think about soil as being the base of all those nutrients and vitamins, and how do we get that back?
So I love this. So Lynn Stewart, who is he's on watching right now, and he's a huge food, vocal food voice and expert and leader in really everything, all of this. I'm not even giving it thrift. But anyways, he just sent in a note and said an alternative. He said he's love the fresh shopping tips, an alternative to asking the farmer. And I love this. And maybe we could kind of talk about this next week, is to learn what fresh and recently harvested looks like and tastes like. I get a runner's high shopping for fresh at an honest farmer's market. Eat local, season is music to my ears. So there you go.
Amazing. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you, Lynn. Okay, so we have 3 minutes left. So I think it was like a super fun episode. And like, I feel like you need to like take pictures or like do stuff with the veggies, and then we can talk about it next week. I will say, when I've made amazing veggie broths from Bob's Veggies, like when I haven't had time, I've done all sorts of really interesting things with the celeriac root. I don't know, some of this, we should like continue the veggie conversation with some of this stuff, because it'll hold.
I think it's so much fun. I was just on yesterday with a lady that is a grower for the Ithaca Farmer Market, and it just got named, I think, in Times for one of the best farmer markets that you can have. Like, it's incredible. And she said something too, and I just want to pop that in there, that a lot of the agricultural world is all male. She said, I'm a unicorn in the agriculture space of being a female. So I thought that was interesting. I wouldn't know that it would be male versus female. Did you know that?
Yeah. Okay. So one concrete thing to do, I said it earlier, I'm going to close with this, is find one source of genuinely nutrient dense food this week. So try and go to a farmer's market, CSA, Chef's Garden does ship. No, Bob did not sponsor this other than sending Kelly a beautiful tray. I happen to love Bob. And then if you do buy veggies for someone, ask if you're buying it from someone as opposed to the grocery store. You could even ask the produce department, which is, how is the food grown? If you can ask that, like that is one question. How is this grown? And then it'll be like a whole thing. People can come back next week and share. Most vegetables look the same. Most are not the same. So now you kind of know the difference. I think I want to push more on what Len said. And I think I want to bring this into the conversation next week and how we do this. So that's it. Ask how it was grown. That's like the whole thing, right?
Love it. And get in the variety. Try to get 3 different things this week. Try something new. We are such creatures of habit. We buy the same celery, carrots, and tomatoes every single week. Mix it up. Try something new.
Look for what's fresh. So it's spring. And so like Bob's stuff, he's got a lot of spring on there. Yep. If you're in an area greens, try greens you've never had before. Bob's greens are amazing. There's all sorts of varieties that he's got. You can find that from lots of different local places as well. Or go to a market that has local food, even if you can't get to a farm. I know where I live, it's not the easiest to get to a farm either. Okay. So next week, we'll talk more about regenerative farming, I think, right? Yep. And that's it. So I'm going to call a wrap. I'm going to be in Nashville. This is like the big Food Health Live event. I'm super pumped. We have our innovation lab tomorrow morning, and then we're hosting the entire track 2 on the 30th. And then we fly to San Antonio to go to Bandera to Sovereignty Ranch for Think Regeneration. So thank you, Kelly, for joining me for another episode of Unprocessed and Unfiltered.
You're welcome. Have a great trip.
Yes, where we talk about not just avoiding bad choices, but making genuinely good ones, because they're 2 different things. So thank you. Oh, wait, there's one question. Let's see. What is needed is an inexpensive tool that can measure nutrient density in food grown in regenerative agriculture conditions and have them graded in labels. Okay. I just have to say to Cheryl, you have to read Heartland Mart. It is on our Substack. It is the hero story at the top. You have absolutely got to read that, because that is what Carter and I are focused on building that with all the people that can make that happen. So also, anybody who's listening, look up Edacious, EDACIOUS, which is a measurement tool of nutrient density. I know Bionutrient Alliance is also trying to get a bricks meter to do this, but it is one of the biggest pieces of tech that Carter and I are pushing really hard to bring the price down on, so that what Cheryl's saying becomes standard. So you walk into the grocery store and it's not about organic versus conventional versus regenerative. It's about nutrient density, and it gets tested, and we get to see that. We get to have insight into food. So sorry, didn't mean to like.
No, that's amazing. That's really,
that was a really good one. So, okay. All right, Kelly, next week.
Next week. I'll see you soon.